Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Emmett McSweeney. I am the president of the Waterbury AOH, and I am your MC for today. This is the second celebration or commemoration that the Waterbury FFAI has led here in Hartford, Connecticut, led by Joe Flaherty. Wave to the crowd, Joe. Joe should be acknowledged for his hard work in making sure that this event takes place. And it is especially appropriate that we are all gathered here today because, of course, we are now at the 30th anniversary of the deaths in the prisons. I'd like to acknowledge AOH dignitaries that are here today. You've got Jerry Cole, who's the Northeastern representative from the National Board. Jerry, if you'll, there you go. We've got the state president, Bill Flaherty. We have other officers. Dave, you are a county officer, Dave Fitzgerald. My wife is a state officer of the LAOH, and if I've missed any dignitaries here, I would certainly be apologetic. We also have, of course, are standing at a monument that was erected by the Hartford unit of Irish Northern Aid back in the 90s. So we should acknowledge their hard work in getting this through the turmoils of state and local government to be able to put up this impressive monument. We also have, we also have friends from Irish Freedom from New York City. I know people have traveled in from Philadelphia and New Jersey for this event as well. Thank you for coming to our event. And of course, you've got H Block memorialized right there in the banner next to the Friends of Irish Freedom. I'd like to not really talk too long, except to mention that the AOH National Charter calls for staying strong for the Catholic Church and protecting it, and for calling for the reunification of Ireland. And that is why we're here. We are commemorating 10 men who died in a position of great weakness. It's one thing to die on a battlefield, it's one thing to die in the heat of passion, but they rather cold-bloodedly decided that the only thing that they could do to protest the situation in the north of Ireland was to sacrifice their lives by starving themselves to death. A horrible way to go. And their sacrifices are commemorated in this monument. I'd like to call Ray Green, a member of that Hartford unit of the Irish Northern Aid Committee, to come forward to sing both the Irish and the American national anthems.
Arden Knag, Gabo Taktan, Sunsberg, main rail toga, is on where fair rockin, can go, good can word Larry, can lo, they yun, Jaya Shal, Jaya Penny, Aran, Navian. Shin a lake rockfall, a toffee allegarin, the wind dash the parting the running wind, they voice the sare, Shantira Shinshir Bosta, Niag Barpantiran, Napentrol, Anachaim, Savor of Will, Lagan Ergale, Bosch, Nusnir, Legon, Oscreak, Pelavik, Nadiler, Shayipani, Aran, Navian. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proud we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
I'd like to call on Brother Matthew McNamee to come forward to read The Rhythm of Time by Bobby Sands.
There's an inner thing in every man. Do you know this thing, my friend? It has withstood the blows of 1,000,000 years and will do so to the end. It was born when time did not exist, and it grew up out of light. It cut down evil's strangling vines like a slashing serene knife. It lit fires when fires were not, and burnt the mind of man, tempering leaden hearts to steel from the time that time began. It wept by the waters of Babylon, and when all men were at a loss, it screeched in writhing agony, and it hung bleeding from the cross. It died in Rome by the lion and sword, and in defiant cruel array, when a deadly war was bracketed us along the Appian way. It marched with what the tyrants poor, and frightened lord and king, and it was emblazoned in their deadly stare, as ere a living thing. It smiled in holy innocence before conquistadors of old, so meek and tame and unaware of the deadly power of gold. It burst forth through the pitful Paris streets, and starved the old Bastille, and marched upon the serpent's head, and it crushed it neath its heel. It died in blood on buffalo plains, and starved by moons of rain. Its heart was buried in wounded knee, and it will come to rise again. It screamed aloud by Kerry Lakes, and it was knelt upon the ground, and it died in great defiance as the cold shot it down. It is found in every light of hope. It knows no bounds nor space. It has risen in red and black and white. It is there in every race. It lies in the hearts of heroes dead. It streams in tyrants' eyes. It has reached the peak of mountains high. It comes serried across the skies. It lights the darks of its prison cell. It thunders forth its might. It is an undauntable thought, my friend, that thou that says, I am right.
Joe, the roll of honor will now be read by Joe Flaherty.
The Roll of Honor. Unlook, Bobby Sands, Antrim, March 9th, 1954 to May 5th, 1981. 65 days on hunger strike. Unlook, Francis Hughes, Derry, February 28, 1950 to May 12, 1981. 59 days on hunger strike. Oh, look, Raymond McCreesh, Armagh. February 25th, 1957 to May 21st, 1981. 61 days on hunger strike. Oh, look, Patsy O'Hara, Derry. July 11th, 1957 to May 21st, 1981. 61 days on hunger strike. Oh, look, Joe McDonnell, Antrim. September 14th, 1951 to July 8th, 1981. 61 days on hunger strike. Oh, look, Martin Hurston, Tyrone. September 13th, 1956 to July 13th, 1981. 46 days on hunger strike. Oh, look, Kevin Lynch, Derry. May 25th, 1956 to August 1st, 1981. 71 days on hunger strike. Oh, look, Karen Doherty, Antrim. October 16th, 1955 to August 2nd, 1981. 73 days on hunger strike. Oh, look, Thomas McAwee, Derry. November 30th, 1957 to August 8th, 1981. 62 days on hunger strike. Oh, look, Michael Devine, Derry. May 26th, 1954 to August 20th, 1981. 60 days on hunger strike. On this monument, there are two names, other than those of 1981, who deserve honorable mention. Frank Stagg, October 4th, 1942 to February 12th, 1976, Wakefield Prison. Frank Stagg died after fasting for 62 days. In his final message to his comrades in the Republican movement, he wrote, "We are a risen people. This time, we must not be driven into the gutter. Even if this should mean dying for justice, the fight must go on. I want my memorial to be peace with justice." And Michael Gordon, October 5th, 1949 to June 3rd, 1974. 23 days into his hunger strike, Michael was force-fed for the first time. The method of force feeding hadn't changed from the days when Thomas Ashe died due to the brutality of it in 1917. The brutality of the force feeding took its toll on the hunger strikers. It left them battered and bruised, drained physically and mentally. On June 3rd, 1974, 64 days into his hunger strike, the prison authorities announced that Michael Gordon had died. They later explained that he died from pneumonia, a result of the force feeding tube having pierced his lung and food lodging in his lung. He was 24 years old.
I'd like Sue Miskell Kramer to come forward, please.
Free in mind, body,